everybody, I'm Emily, and today I'm going to be helping Dejana make a bird crazy pop-up card. Now what we're going to use is the card cutouts for the bench and these little stamps from the Timothy collection. They're little birds, there's writing. And there's actually big and small stamps that we have, but today we're going to be using the smaller ones just because of the size of the card. We're going to be using Stampers Anonymous to add accents to the birds. Now the first thing you want to do is you want to take a piece of black paper and you're going to want to cut it in half. Make sure it's perfectly straight, and then you're going to fold it again, give it a very nice crease, do that to the other paper. There I was, it's my hand. There I am again. And you're going to take, I want to call it a metal cutout of a bench, and this is how you're going to get the pop-up effect when you open the card. So what you want to do is you want to take that first piece of black paper that you have. We're going to be using the magnetic platform to keep it on so that the cutout's metal, so it's going to be able to hold it down on the paper nicely, because you want to have those two little I don't know what to call them, dots on the side of the cutout perfectly aligned with the crease of the page, and you'll see why we want to do that. Put it through the presser, and because of the sharp ends on the metal cutouts, you're going to have a little bench in your paper once you press it down. Now go ahead and just pop out all of the extra pieces of paper that you don't need, and while you're doing that, we're going to go ahead and start on the bird stamps. So we want to accent the birds a little bit, just put stuff surrounding them in the cards. So we picked out little Halloween items, a witch's hat, a broom, a pumpkin, just because it fits with the holiday theme, and colors to go with it. This is a Halloween kit, but you don't need to use it for Halloween. It can be anything during the fall season, so you can gift it to anyone or just make it for fun anytime during the end of the year. So go ahead and stamp those down onto the paper, make as many as you want, and once you're finished with that, go ahead and cut them out. Make sure that they're all cut out separately. And just like before with the bench, we have little metal pieces that are going to help cut these pieces of stamps out correctly. And they just line up directly. They come with the stamps. You just line them up directly with the outline of the stamp once you have cut it out on the paper, and when it presses down, it will give you a perfect cutout of the stamp. Now these things can get lost real easy, so just a little trick is to have little paper baggies to keep them in. Each stamp should get its own little baggie, and take the stamp and press it onto the bag that it corresponds with, and then that way you'll easily be able to find any of the little pieces you need and nothing will get lost. So go ahead and take the metal pieces and put them right over the top of the stamp that you made. Doesn't have to be exact. And press them again, and when you take them out, you should have perfect little cutouts of the stamp. A lot less work than having to cut it out with scissors, and it looks a lot better too. we're gonna do the exact same thing with the birds now. Go ahead, take them, stamp them on the paper, and you want to stamp them multiple times on the paper. Probably just about 2, and you'll see why we want to do that later on. Make sure that they're very clear. Cut those out individually as well. And once that's done, you're going to take one of the birds that you cut out and you're going to put the full body cut out over it. And with the other one that you cut out, each bird has a little eye and beak cut out too. So you're going to use the second stamp and you're going to put the eye and beak cut out over that one. Go ahead and do that for each of the birds that you decided to use. This one even has little wing cutouts. It's pretty cute. Some of them may have more things than others. It just depends on whichever bird you chose. We're going to set that to the side for a second and we're going to come back to our card. Now, the inside of the card, or the bench that we used, the paper was all black and we want it to stand out more against the card, which is going to be black too. So we went ahead and pressed the bench again, and this time we're just going to cut out the entire thing, cut away all excess paper, so that just the back and the seat are still attached to one another. And before you can put that on the black part of the bench, you need to go ahead and fold out the bench that you already have the black one attached to the paper. And this is what it should look like if you do it correctly. You should be able to fold it, and when you open it up, you're able to see a little bench. And that's the part that you're going to attach the white to. But before you do that, you want to attach the bench to the second piece of paper that we first cut out, so that it has a back and it actually starts to resemble a card. This is going to be the base of the card. Don't be afraid to use a lot of glue. There you go. And now is when we're going to take the piece of white and glue it on the bench. It'll just make the card prettier, make it stand out more. What we really want from the card is to make it look 3D, so this is really going to help with that. Now, in the background, you want to add whatever little cutouts or accents you used. In the same kit that we showed you earlier, there's tree cutouts, there's leaf cutouts, there's pumpkins, and right now we're going to use the tree and the grass, and we're going to glue it in the background. And you can put it anywhere on the card that you want, or you can just put it in the same place that we are. Off to the side, I'm actually just coloring in one of the hats. You don't need to pay attention to that right now. Just focus on getting glue on the back of everything that you're about to put down. Try not to use a lot because it is black paper, and if you push down the glue and it comes out of the sides, you are going to be able to see it even when it dries on the paper. So not a lot. And if you want it to look even more 3D, instead of using glue, you could just use an adhesive. It's raised up and it has 2 sticky sides, so you'll be able to, as you can see, we put it on the little pumpkin, it'll raise it up. So we put down the tree, and now we're putting down the leaves. It's fall, so these don't need to be exact. You can just scatter them around anywhere you want. Try not to add too many. You don't want to make your picture look too busy already because we're still going to be adding more to it. Put the grass in the back. Now back to the stamps, because this is the next thing that we're going to add on to the card. You want to color them. Right now we're using Prima accent watercolors and watercolor pencils. And we color them using very earthy colors, very festive colors, especially since it's Halloween. We want to use fall colors to color the birds so that it blends in well with the rest of the paper, rest of the card. And you can use watercolor markers to blend the pencil in. Really just go with whatever color scheme you were using for your card. Now to make the birds 3D too, you're going to take the little adhesive that we talked about earlier that we use with the jack-o'-lantern, and you're going to want to put it on the bird's eyes so that the eyes pop up and they make the bird 3D as well. You aren't going to want to do this for the beak or the wings, because even if you do not use the adhesives and you just glue it down, there is still a sense of 3D to them, and you don't want it to stand out too much because the eyes want to be the main focal point of the bird. We're just using the marker to press it down. You can use your fingers, and that's what it should look like. See, you can see the eyes popping up. There you go. And that's what it should look like once you've finished the bird. Now we want to attach the bird to the card. This is the first bird. You can really put them anywhere you want. You don't want to cover the tree too much. You don't want to cover the bench too much though, because you still want everyone to see all the work that you've done. We put a little jack-o'-lantern on the bottom, and this is the second bird. We're still completing it. If you want a close-up of how, just to put the eyes and the beak and the wings down. And this little guy gets a hat too, because it's Halloween, so dressed up like a witch. Something cute you can just, little detail you can add to your card. And there we go. Now you have to decide a good place to put him. Make sure that wherever you put him, when the paper is folded, it doesn't pop out of the card. Don't be afraid to move stuff around a little bit. We had to take some leaves off so that this guy could fit in the back. Go ahead, press him down. Looks good, and now the birds are all done. Now, this is the end of part 1 of this video, so go ahead and check out part 2. Before you do that, just make sure that all the little accents that you wanted to add to the inside of your card are finished. We have leaves, we're gonna put a little broomstick on. You can make it your own, make it unique, add anything else that you want to. Anything from the cutout you can put on. In part 2, we're actually going to be finishing the outside of the video and the greeting on the inside of the card, so make sure you go watch that so that the card looks completed. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.